My family believed I was a monster because my brother wanted to be a savior. Hi, I'm Tyler, 39, and I watched my entire life detonate in real time because my brother decided being a hero was more important than the truth. It started with a phone call on a Wednesday that should have been about curriculum updates. I teach electrical systems at a community college in El Paso and run my own contracting company on the side. I'm not flashy. I pay my taxes, invoice clean, and sleep like a rock because my conscience is clear and my joints hurt by 8 p.m. So when the department chair, a man named Curtis with a voice like a sleepy golden retriever, asked me to stop by his office real quick, I figured it was about a schedule change or a new textbook proposal. Normal stuff. Instead, I walked in and found Curtis flanked by our student services head, Dr. Anika Reyes, and a third guy in a suit who didn't introduce himself. The kind of vibe that instantly makes your stomach crawl up your throat. Not one person offered me coffee. That's how you know it's bad. Tyler, we appreciate you coming in. Curtis said like I'd just been diagnosed with something terminal. There have been some serious allegations related to the Skills Tech Regional Conference last month. I blinked. What allegations? Dr. Reyes jumped in, all soothing therapist energy. 2 students have come forward reporting inappropriate physical contact. The alleged incident took place during the conference weekend in Albuquerque. Albuquerque? I wasn't even in the damn state. I didn't go to the conference, I said. I was on a job site in Las Cruces installing conduit at the new water treatment plant. I have permits, badge scans, crew statements, everything. This isn't just a misunderstanding. I literally wasn't there. Mr. No Name in the suit finally spoke up. Given the severity and credibility of the allegations, we're placing you on immediate administrative leave pending investigation. Credibility? I was 180 miles away pulling cable through an access tunnel while they think I'm out here being some kind of creep. I told them I'd bring the documentation by that afternoon, that I could prove where I was every minute of that weekend. I offered badge logs, inspection sign-offs, time-stamped site photos. But they didn't care. Curtis just gave me this hollow look like, yeah, sorry, but this train already left the station. They made me hand in my keys and clear my office that morning. I walked out with a cardboard box, 3 textbooks, and the realization that nobody planned to hear me out. And that was before my brother, Lucas, turned the whole thing into a public execution. Lucas went full martyr mode before I'd even made it to my truck. By the time I got home, he'd already sent a message to the family group chat. You know, the one where nobody replies unless it's somebody's birthday or Aunt Janice overshares her foot surgery. This time, though, everyone was typing. Lucas had posted some sanctimonious wall of text about believing survivors and how hard it is to stand up against someone you love. He never mentioned me by name, but everyone knew. My phone buzzed like it was trying to explode. I texted him immediately. Me? What the hell are you doing? Lucas, protecting the victims. I suggest you cooperate with the investigation. This is the same brother who once locked me in a dog crate when we were kids and told Mom I got stuck playing hide and seek. The same guy who'd spent years making backhanded jokes about my manual labor career while he climbed the HR ladder in his nonprofit job. Lucas didn't care about victims. He cared about being the good son. The one who did yoga and posted reflective captions about community healing. The one my parents actually listened to. I called my mom. She picked up, barely. Sweetie, Lucas said the college has credible concerns, she said, voice trembling like she was already halfway to mourning me. We just want you to take responsibility if something happened. Something didn't happen. I said, I was in Las Cruces all weekend. I've got security badge scans and inspection sign-offs. We're not investigators, honey. We have to trust the process. Trust the process? The same process that didn't even check if I was in the right city? My dad got on the line. Look, Tyler, I don't know what's true or not, but Lucas has been working with advocacy groups for years. He's been trained to spot red flags. Right. And apparently one of those red flags was being a blue-collar guy with a truck full of tools and a schedule that didn't include brunch. By sunset, my name was radioactive. My landlord left a voicemail about reviewing tenancy options. One of my biggest commercial clients paused our contract, citing reputational risk. Even my barber, my damn barber, canceled my appointment and stopped answering my texts. I sent Curtis and the college board an email that night with a full PDF of every document I had, badge records, crew witness statements, timestamped photos, job logs. Everything. Not a single reply. But Lucas? He was just getting started. It all blew up the next morning. Not because the truth came out, but because Lucas lit the final match himself. I woke up to a screenshot from my cousin Tara. "Dude, what the hell is this?" she wrote. Lucas had posted on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, not Instagram, not Facebook. LinkedIn, the holy ground of performative professionalism, with his headshot right next to a 900-word essay titled, "When Protecting Others Means Losing Family." It was every ounce of self-righteous garbage you'd expect. As someone committed to restorative justice, we cannot stay silent when those closest to us do harm. I believe the brave young women who came forward. Not once did he say what I supposedly did. That wasn't the point. The point was he believed. He supported. He was brave. And of course, the comments rolled in like an avalanche of virtue signals. "Thank you for your courage. Sending you strength during this difficult moral moment. You're doing the right thing." I wanted to punch a wall. Instead, I forwarded the whole thing to my lawyer. Yes, by then I had won. A woman named Cassandra that my friend Mike knew from a tenant dispute years back. Tiny, intense, and looked like she could eviscerate someone with a stare and a well-timed legal brief. I sent her everything. The LinkedIn post, the college's silence, the documentation, all of it. She called me 5 minutes later. "This is actionable," she said. "Defamation, interference with business relations, possible due process violations from the college." "I don't want revenge," I said. "I want my life back." "Then you're going to need to fight for it. Quietly, legally, and without posting a single angry word online." And so that's what I did. We started filing preservation letters, evidence requests, complaints to the State Board and the Department of Higher Ed. Meanwhile, Lucas kept writing. Weekly updates. Threads about accountability. How truth requires sacrifice. It was like watching someone dig their own grave and live stream it. My lawyer just kept screenshotting. Every time he claimed credible evidence. Every time he suggested I was dangerous. She added it to a growing file titled, "Tyler vs. Everyone Who Screwed Up." And then, 3 months in, the cops finally did what nobody else had bothered to. They checked. They checked the conference roster. I wasn't on it. They checked hotel logs, transportation records, nothing. Then they pulled the Las Cruces job logs, badge scans, video footage, for electricians swearing I'd been there 12 hours a day the whole weekend. And just like that, the whole thing snapped. I got a call from the detective handling the case. He sounded exhausted. "Mr. Walker, we're closing the investigation. No charges will be filed. There's no evidence you were in Albuquerque at any point." I sat on the edge of my bed, gripping the phone like it might evaporate. "What happens now?" I asked. He hesitated. "Well, that's up to you. Here's the thing about being proven innocent. Nobody throws you a parade. There was no press release from the college. No oops, our bad from Curtis. Not a single person who ghosted me came crawling back with a casserole. Except for Lucas. Oh, he came crawling, just not for me. It started with Cassandra subpoenaing him. You'd think a guy who talks so much about transparency would be thrilled to share. Instead, his lawyer tried everything to avoid a deposition, scheduling conflicts, health issues, emotional strain. Cassandra wasn't having it. She filed a motion to compel. The court agreed. So Lucas showed up, in person, at my lawyer's office, looking like he hadn't slept in weeks. He wouldn't even look at me. Cassandra went for the throat immediately. She asked when he first heard about the accusations. He said the college had contacted him privately because of his work with victim support nonprofits. "Did you ask them to verify my client was at the competition?" she asked. "No." "Did you ever confirm his name was on the attendance roster?" "No." "Did you ever ask for a timeline? Or any physical evidence?" Silence. "You posted online that Tyler was guilty," she continued. "You encouraged others to treat him as a danger. You even helped the families refine their statements. Is that correct?" "I was trying to support them," Lucas said. "Support them by ignoring facts?" "I believe them." She leaned in, voice like a scalpel. "You believe them because it made you feel righteous. Because it gave you something you never had before, a cause where you were the center." Lucas didn't answer. His lawyer kept flipping through papers like they might magically turn into a time machine. "And when my client sent you proof, badge logs, time-stamped photos, sworn statements, you didn't even open the email, did you?" "No." "And now that the police have cleared him, now that it's public record, he wasn't even in the same city. What do you believe? Lucas's voice cracked. I was wrong. Cassandra smiled. Good. Because that's going to look real nice in court. He settled within a week. The amount? Confidential. But let's just say I could have bought 3 new trucks and had enough left to sponsor the next skills tech competition myself. The college, though? That fight was just getting started. The college tried to slither away with a half-hearted apology and a let's all move forward email blast. Cassandra laughed so hard she choked on her coffee. Their first offer? 50 grand and a mutual non-disclosure agreement. Basically, here's hush money, now go away quietly. She emailed back a counteroffer so aggressive I almost felt bad for them. Almost. We demanded full reinstatement with back pay. A public apology signed by the entire board. $300,000 in damages. Termination of Dr. Anika Reyes. Or we go nuclear in court. They stalled. Cried student privacy. Dragged their feet on discovery. One of their lawyers even suggested I should consider the reputational damage litigation could bring. Buddy, my reputation was already in ashes. You think I'm scared of courtroom air freshener? While they played defense, the real bomb dropped. A local reporter, God bless nosy journalism majors, got a hold of the police investigation summary. She ran a full piece in the Sunday paper, wrongfully accused the college that didn't check the facts. It went viral. Suddenly, donors were yanking funding. Parents were demanding answers. A faculty senate meeting turned into a mutiny. Dr. Reyes stopped showing up to campus. Curtis retired to focus on family. And wouldn't you know it, all those technical issues that prevented them from accessing badge logs and inspection reports resolved themselves. Turns out my documentation was right where it always was. They just hadn't bothered to look. But the real jaw-dropper came in January, when we finally got access to the college's internal communications. Cassandra opened the files and just said, "Oh, these idiots wrote their own indictment." Emails between Dr. Reyes and Curtis detailing how they guided the students to create more consistent statements. Texts with parents suggesting timelines that better fit the narrative. Literal drafts of accusations edited by administration staff. They didn't investigate the allegations, they manufactured them. But wait, it gets better. Guess who helped them? Lucas. Turns out, in the early stages, he'd been in private contact with one of the families, coaching them on how to speak with clarity and purpose. Even after the students started expressing doubts, he'd deleted the messages. But we got them from the recipient. Every line, every manipulation, every righteous, self-serving word. My brother had gone from playing advocate to co-authoring the accusation. And now, with all of it exposed, the only question was, who was going down first? They cracked at the board meeting. The college, I mean. It was supposed to be a routine public session, budgets, minutes, a new vending machine proposal, or whatever. Instead, it turned into an institutional bloodletting with half the town watching. Parents showed up. Reporters showed up. Faculty who hadn't attended a meeting in a decade showed up. Someone brought popcorn. Not kidding. The interim president, some poor soul brought in after Curtis swan dived into retirement, opened with a statement that felt like a hostage letter. We have conducted a thorough review, substantial procedural failures. Mr. Walker was not present at the event in question, verifiable documentation, wrongful termination. They didn't use the word lied. They said misrepresented. They didn't say framed. They said mishandled. But they said my name. Said I'd been cleared. Said the college accepted responsibility for their role in the damage done to my career. And then, right there in front of everyone, they offered reinstatement, full back pay, and a formal apology. It should have felt like a win. But honestly, it felt like being handed a sandwich after someone punched me in the mouth. Like, thanks, but also screw you. Cassandra didn't let them off the hook. She stood up, in heels that made her look 6 feet 2 inches, and calmly said, "We will be proceeding with civil litigation. This apology is a start, not a settlement." Mic dropped. Dr. Reyes resigned the next day. Her license got flagged for review by the state. We forwarded every document to the accreditation board, the education department, and, just for fun, every publication that had published one of Lucas's think pieces. But the wildest part? That was still to come. Because a week later, I got a letter from Madison, one of the girls who'd accused me. It was handwritten, 3 pages, shaky penmanship. She said she was sorry, said she'd never meant to name me. that she'd been confused, scared, and pressured by adults who told her memories were wrong if they didn't match the official timeline. She said she didn't even remember seeing me at the conference, just that she'd been told I was there. And sometimes trauma makes memories fuzzy. Her words. She asked if she could talk to me. Not to fix things. She knew that wasn't possible. Just to say it out loud. That she was sorry. That she'd been used. I sat on the edge of my workbench, holding that letter, and realized for the first time I didn't feel angry. I felt tired. And I wasn't done yet. I didn't write Madison back. Not because I was angry. I wasn't. Not at her. Not anymore. She was 16 when it happened. Surrounded by people with titles, clipboards, and phrases like trauma timelines and narrative consistency. What chance did she have? Instead, I forwarded her letter to Cassandra. 3 days later, I was sitting across from her and Madison's new attorney, a different one this time. One who actually gave a damn. They were trying to clean house. Turns out Madison and Kayla, the other student, had both submitted formal complaints to the state licensing board. Against the college. Against Dr. Reyes. And yes, against Lucas. See, Madison's father had finally read the full police report. After months of Lucas telling him logistics were just distractions, the guy actually checked the logistics and realized his daughter had been used. So he lawyered up. Hard. Suddenly, I wasn't the only one filing lawsuits. There were class action whispers. Parents organizing. One mom straight up called a local radio show and said, "The college used our daughters like chess pieces." I listened to the recording on loop for 3 days. Meanwhile, Cassandra was roasting people alive in depositions. Dr. Reyes tried to claim therapeutic interviewing techniques. Cassandra showed her the email where she literally wrote, "We just need to ensure the family doesn't waver under pressure." The college's lawyer tried to claim it was a miscommunication. Cassandra brought out the drafts of the statements, complete with track changes. Additions like specific gestures, lingering contact, and Tyler's voice made me uncomfortable, none of which came from the students themselves. They had edited their way into an accusation. And guess who helped? Lucas. Emails, texts, voice memos. All of it part of Discovery Now. One message to Kayla's mom read, "If we don't stay united, the story falls apart." That sends the wrong message. Another, "Timelines don't matter. Belief does." He tried to claim he meant well. The court didn't care. We took him to civil trial in May. It was brutal. His defense argued he was acting in good faith, based on information given to him. Cassandra played video clips from the board meeting, read witness statements, projected Lucas's own posts on a big screen like he was the opening act at a TED Talk titled "How to Tank Your Life with Hubris." In closing, she said, Mr. Walker was innocent. Mr. Lucas Walker chose not to verify. Then he chose to amplify. Then he chose to lead the crusade, despite knowing he hadn't checked a single fact. That's not advocacy. That's defamation. The jury came back in under 4 hours. Full liability. $175,000 in damages. I didn't celebrate, but when I walked past him on my way out of the courtroom, I didn't look away either. He did. They called it reputational remediation. That was the phrase the college used in the official letter they sent to every vendor, contractor, and business partner who dropped me during the witch hunt. Every email, every envelope, stamped with the college seal, signed by the new president. After thorough investigation, the allegations against Mr. Tyler Walker have been found to be entirely unsubstantiated. Mr. Walker was not present at the event in question. He was wrongfully terminated. The college sincerely regrets the damage caused. It wasn't justice, but it was a damn good start. My old landlord, the one who'd kicked me out for morality clause violations, he called to apologize, offered to give me my old apartment back. I told him I owned a house now. Vendors who'd gone silent were suddenly very eager to send Christmas baskets. I didn't blame them. Business is business. But I made one thing clear. If you ghosted me when I needed you, you don't get a seat at my table now. I used the settlement money, plus a little poetic spite, to buy a warehouse downtown. Converted half into a state-of-the-art electrical shop, the other half into a classroom space where I teach job site safety and conduit layout to guys trying to get certified without drowning in student loans. We've got 20 students this session. A few of them told me they used to be afraid of guys in trades. You know, because of people like me. I tell them, good, be cautious, but don't mistake headlines for facts. Lucas? Last I heard, He's managing an HR department at a mid-size insurance firm. Word is, he doesn't do much advocacy these days. His LinkedIn is private. His wife filed for divorce 6 months after the trial. Took the house, the car, and whatever self-worth he had left. I haven't spoken to my parents. They showed up at the shop once in July. Said they wanted to talk. I didn't let them pass the parking lot. You chose Lucas. You chose silence. You chose comfort over truth, I said. Now choose to live with it. They left. I haven't seen them since. People always ask me if I've forgiven Lucas. The answer is simple. Forgiveness isn't a reset button. It's not a PR move or a family reunion. It's not even for them. It's for me. And maybe, one day, I'll get there. But for now, I'm busy. Teaching. Working. Living. Proving that no matter how hard they tried to bury me, I wasn't done growing. The day the documentary crew showed up, I almost sent them away. A producer had emailed Cassandra weeks earlier. Some streaming platform wanted to do a docuseries on cancel culture, wrongful accusations, and how institutions screw over the very people they claim to protect. They wanted to feature my story. I laughed when she told me, "What? You want me sobbing on camera next to a pile of burned bridges?" She said, "No. I want people to hear your voice before someone else tells your story again." So I said yes. They set up lights in my shop, the same one I'd bought with part of the settlement, the same place I'd rebuilt my career from concrete and ash. I wore a flannel I didn't hate, trimmed my beard, and sat on a stool next to the conduit rack. They asked questions. I answered. What was the worst moment? The silence. The day everyone stopped replying and I realized I was screaming into a void. What do you think Lucas was really after? Redemption. Validation. A way to matter without earning it. Do you blame the girls? No. I blame the people who handed them a script and called it healing. What would you say to your parents if they walked in right now? I didn't answer that one. Just stared at the camera until they moved on. A month later, the trailer dropped. It wasn't flashy or dramatic. Just me saying, they didn't need proof. They just needed someone to blame. It hit a nerve. The full episode dropped 2 weeks later. And suddenly, people were watching, messaging, apologizing. One of my old commercial clients sent me a message. I owe you a serious apology. We dropped you without asking a single question. You deserved better. Another. Can we work together again? The answer to both was yes. Not because I'm some saint, but because if I ask people to believe in second chances, I can't be the guy who never gives them. The shop's quieter these days. Not because business is slow, we're booked 3 months out, but because I stopped letting noise in that doesn't serve me. No more checking family group chats. No more rereading comments from strangers who decided I was guilty based on vibes and hashtags. No more wondering if Lucas will ever fully understand what he did. He probably won't. And I've made peace with that. Last week, I got a letter. Certified. Handwritten. The return address said Santa Fe Correctional Board. It was from Dr. Reyes. For pages. Neatly written. Apologizing not just for what she did, but for why she did it. She said she'd built a career on being the voice for the voiceless, and somewhere along the way, she started mistaking her voice for theirs. That she believed shaping a story to fit the greater good was more important than verifying if the story was even true. I don't expect forgiveness, she wrote. I just needed you to know, I know what I did. And I was wrong. I didn't write back. But I didn't throw it away, either. It's in my desk drawer, right next to Madison's letter. 2 reminders that accountability doesn't always come when or how you expect it. Sometimes, it shows up after the fire. After the noise. After the world decides your life is a morality play and they're the audience. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't survive something like this by clearing your name. You survive it by rebuilding anyway. Not because they let you, but because they can't stop you. Last month, I stood in front of 20 new apprentices. First day of class. Nervous energy, calloused hands. Guys who've been told their whole lives that they're replaceable. I told them, out there, you don't get to control what people assume about you. But in here, we work with facts. Wires don't lie. Amperage doesn't care about opinions. They laughed, but a few nodded like they understood exactly what I meant. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something deeper than anger, deeper than vindication. I felt free.